joining us this afternoon is Philippine Navy spokesperson Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad. He's also former Chief of Staff of Task Force Zambasulta. Admiral, good afternoon and welcome back to Storycon.
Yes, good afternoon everyone. And sa mga taga-subaybay, good afternoon to all of us.
Good afternoon, sir. Teka lang, for context, for those who don't know what Zambasulta is, it's Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Zambasulta. Okay.
Yes. I was the former Chief of Staff there and the former spokesperson. And the primary focus of Joint Task Force Zambasulta was terrorism and the Abu Sayyaf group.
Yes, sir. Well, sir, we're bringing you in precisely because of what happened dun sa Australia, kung saan namaril ang mag-ama. And it turns out that they stayed in the Philippines for one entire month in November. At least as far as they can tell dun sa records nila, their final destination in the Philippines would have been Davao or the Davao region. And because of that, you know, we have the Philippines back on the spotlight all over the world na parang we're supposedly a haven of terrorism.
Oh, in fact, yung ibang international media, ang headline nila is hotspot, ISIS hotspot daw yung Pilipinas. What does the AFP have to say about this?
Yes, first and foremost, let us look at what happened, what transpired in Australia. This was a shooting incident targeting Jewish people, the Jews, attending the Hanukkah festival. Meaning, this is more of anti-Semitism at work and not terrorism. Or we could say it is anti-Semitism through an act of terror. What's the difference between these two? And now, they are saying that just because dumaan sila sa atin for a month, everybody is now saying that we are a hotbed of terrorism. This is unfair to all the efforts of the Filipino people and the AFP and all government agencies who over the years have brought down our terror problem to an inconsequential level. From 1,257 identified terrorists down to roughly only 50 with no leaders and no organization. So by saying that they passed by the Philippines and insinuating that they were radicalized here, it misses the point and it puts the burden on us. Actually, this was an anti-Semitic action. Secondly, it will take more than a month to radicalize an individual. When we speak of terrorism, we are generally referring to radical Islamization. It will take years to radicalize a person, and we have seen what are the results of terror acts, suicide bombers. It would take years to do that. Just because the father and son passed by the Philippines doesn't mean that they were radicalized here, doesn't mean that we are a hotbed of terrorism. On the contrary, our figures will show that terrorism is on the downtrend in the Philippine setting.
Sir, are you
Admiral,
saying...
yung Zambasulta, ano po ang mga threat groups dyan ngayon? Yung major kasi binabanggit nila yung mga dating mga Islamic State affiliated groups dyan eh. Buhay pa ba yung mga yun? Alam namin, meron pang Dawla Islamia. Pero ano pa yung mga threat groups ngayon na pwedeng i-relate sa IS or ISIS?
Yes, I mean, if we are to look at the Philippine terror setting, terrorism first came to the forefront in the early 1990s or late 80s with the bombing of the MV Dolus in Zamboanga City Pier. By then, an unknown group which later came out to be the Abu Sayyaf group, founded by, among others, Abdurrajak Janjalani, a veteran of the Russo-Afghan campaign. And from there was a new player in the Philippine setting, security setting, the Abu Sayyaf group. The Abu Sayyaf group, after Abdurrajak Janjalani, the leadership was passed on to his brother, Gaddafi. And then we now have the second and third generation leaders. But they have now been decimated. They are basically only bandits right now. Basilan, which used to be the hotbed of the Abu Sayyaf, is now a very safe, secured, and progressive place. There are local incidents of violence, but it is not terror-related or Islamic terror-related. Polo, which used to be another hotbed, is now very safe. The circumferential roads are finished. On a weekend, all the public places, the beaches are full of people. And our local ground commanders can attest to that. In Central Mindanao, Ansar Al-Khalifa, Mindanao, Ansar Al-Khalifa, Philippines, AKM, AKP, when their leader was arrested, Tokboy, they were on the downtrend. In the Lanao region, we have the Mauti Group, which after 2017, they are now only the remnants. There are a few groups right now, Dawla Islamiyah, local, Lanao or Central Mindanao, etc. But to say that they are now representing ISIS is inaccurate and false. They are now, we don't have anymore a central group that the armed forces, as we speak right now, is facing to the magnitude of the Abu Sayyaf or the Mauti Group. Again, terrorism in the Philippine setting is on a downtrend, and our figures will tell us about that.
Sir, I'm certain you still have your contacts in the Zambasulta area, and I'm sure you're still talking to them, specifically yung mga security forces and security officials. Do we have any idea where itong mag-ama, saan sila nagpunta itong Nobyembre? Were security officers able to trace or track their whereabouts during that time in November?
Yes, the armed forces right now is in coordination with the PNP, the Bureau of Immigration, and other security agencies of the government to be able to see if we could track or piece together kung saan sila umikot ang mag-ama na ito, anong ginawa nila. Again, 1 month is not enough, is not sufficient to radicalize a person, especially to give him extreme views and to carry them out. Radicalization will take a lot of years.
Yes.
That's why we have a very strong PCVE, countering violent extremism, preventing and countering violent extremism. This is community-based, it is sustainable, and we have seen the fruits of our efforts along this line.
Admiral, I know what you're saying. I know, of course, radicalization takes years, pero there is also a possibility that they were radicalized before already, tapos pumunta lang, I don't know, this is a very hypothetical scenario, na pumunta lang sa Davao region or wherever in the south, wherever they went to in the south, to, I don't know, to coordinate with other extremists, right? In fact, some of the news articles from overseas that I've read about this insinuated that the father and son were getting military-style training, right? So there's also still that possibility. What do you think about that?
Yes, I don't want to jump ahead of any validation or investigation. But the initial results would show that this is, again, not terrorism at work. It is anti-Semitism. And anybody could hold a anti-Semitic view or a hatred for the Jews. It's happening right now in Europe. It's happening in Latin America. So you could be not Muslim and be anti-Semitic. So just because they passed by the Philippines, all of a sudden it is given a terrorism flavor. Let's go back to the basics. Hakuna Festival, targeting Jews.
Pero ang sinasabi kasi nila, Admiral, yung militant training nila nakuha dito sa atin from our militant groups. Yun lang naman ang sinasabi ng mga foreign reports, no? So we're asking about the level of threat actually, na dapat ba mag-worry tayo and the rest of the world na merong ganyan na pwedeng matuto ang mga tao mag-handle ng baril at pumatay ng tao dito sa Pilipinas?
Actually, the terror setting right now in the Philippines, a lot of the leaders have already been neutralized by the AFP. Tokboy or Muhammad Jafar Magid in early 2017. We have Abu Hassan, we have Abu Dar, Abid Raife. These are leaders of the different terror groups. And when you remove the leader, it takes time to replace them. So it will follow the fact that the members of the groups would also go back slowly into society. And without the leadership and the organization, the group will die a natural death. Right now, what we are dealing with are pockets of different groups which would like to claim that they are the overall terror group representing a foreign terror organization. They are not. We are looking at dispersed, some of them already bandits. So it is unfair again to say that the Philippines is a hotbed of terror. From 1,257, we are dealing with roughly only 50 local terrorists.
And out of this 50, Admiral, I wonder, do we know how many of them are aligned with the Islamic State? Or kung
The
meron bang mga
Islamic
cells?
State tried to establish their strongest push was during the Marawi siege. And they gave 4 requirements for Isnilon Hapilon before he would be recognized as the emir of ISIS in the Philippines. What were the 4 requirements? He should unify all the factors fighting the government, the different terror groups. Number 2, he should have territory. Number 3, there should be leadership. And number 4, they should establish Sharia law. And then they will be recognized now as a caliphate. After the Marawi siege in 2017, Isnilon Hapilon was killed there. 6 months before that, 5 months before, in January 2017, Tokboy, who, according to some reports, was also on the way to Marawi. So after that, we don't have any group that everybody will claim just for fame or maybe for funding support that they would represent a foreign terror organization. But right now, we are dealing with local terrorist groups.
Okay, so meron din mga nagka-claim na they're aligned with the foreign terrorist cells pero hindi naman talaga. It's out of, they're just trying to gain some fame. That's what you're saying.
Admiral, lihis lang akong konti kasi there's a lot of uncertainty right now doon sa nangyayari sa BARM. Hindi nila malaman kung mag-election sila, magkakaroon ng bagong parliament. Is this a cause for concern sa military, sa mga counter-terrorism groups? You think it might encourage militancy again, etong problema to?
Ma'am Ami, could you say the first part of the question again? The first part lang.
Kasi may problema ngayon, di ba? Uncertain ngayon kung matutuloy yung first parliamentary elections sa BARM. Alam naman natin kung sino-sino yung mga grupo dyan na naglalaban-laban. Are you worried, yung military, are you worried na baka magkaroon na naman ng mga militant movement dahil dyan sa political uncertainty sa BARM? At magka-problema na naman tayo sa local terrorism.
Yes, on the situation of the BARM, first and foremost, we would like to say that Basilan is now terror-free, ASG-free. The presence of the ASG in Holo has been wiped out. We are now seeing an influx of tourists in Basilan and Holo, local tourists at that. The government of the OPAPRO is on top of the situation when it comes to the BARM, the election, and all other dynamics there. We are making sure that there will be no opportunity for any local or foreign terror organizations to be able to touch base in a community and start another new group. But there, the AFP and other government agencies involved in that are proactive measures at the community level to ensure that there will be no resurgence of these so-called terror groups, whether local or linked to foreign ones.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think we have to let you go because we've run out of time. But thank you so much for joining Storycon today and explaining all of that to us. Philippine Navy spokesperson, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.